Hi everyone, welcome to Leisrealtalk. All right, it's another Thursday. All right, let's get started. What happens when the world's most secretive regime becomes the top target of the world's most powerful spy agency? Let's find out. On May 1st, the CIA released two short Chinese language videos on social media aimed at recruiting CCP officials. One targeted high ranking officials and the other one on grassroots level cadres. The video the video designed for our senior officials focused on their anxiety and fear amid intense political struggles and political purging. The other video spoke directly to lower level officials who are frustrated with the system and don't see any hope for themselves. The videos tell from their perspective what life inside the CCP system looks like: constant scheming, cutthroat politics, and relentless infighting. Hard work goes unrewarded, and many feel powerless to achieve their goals or personal goals. So the message is clear. Rather than living like this, why not give yourself a chance and open the door to a better future? The videos end with the line, "Take control of your destiny." By the way, the two videos are in Mandarin, and I asked Chris to provide you the links in the description, so you can take a look if you're interested, if you speak Chinese. So in this campaign, the CIA openly called on CCP insiders to contact them in exchange for a chance to change their lives and the lives of their loved ones. The videos made waves in the Chinese community. This is the first time Washington has openly targeted CCP officials and directly encouraged them to defect since China-US established diplomatic relations. So it's a very bold move. Now, it's not the first time the CIA has done something like this in the past years. Back in October 2024, they released multiple videos in different languages to recruit informants in 4 countries labeled as axis of evil: China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. These videos were purely instructional, with no narratives. It just taught people step by step how to safely contact the CIA. And the Chinese video, the Chinese instructional video, received 136,000 views. CIA Director John Ratcliffe has made it clear publicly. He said, "China is now the agency's top intelligence priority." He made an interesting comment. He said, "If it didn't work, we wouldn't be making more videos." So the meaning is clear. The videos released last year were effective. CCP insiders have already contacted the CIA. That's why the agency is now stepping up recruitment with new rounds of videos. But why now? Well, the CCP is in a crisis of its own making. Domestically and internationally, things are spiraling. The party, the government, and the military are all undergoing ruthless political purges. So fear is everywhere. Some senior officials and even mid and lower level ones are losing faith in the system. Some are hedging their bets. Some are quietly looking for a way out. And this is exactly where the CIA's latest move hit hardest, recruiting insiders who are disillusioned and desperate. So how effective is this strategy? So today I'll share with you what some of the top China experts say about the significance of this move by the CIA. So let me share with you the first. Oh, actually, here we go. This is the logo or the image. It says, "Contact CIA securely." I just thought that logo looks very interesting. Don't you think? It looks like handcuff, like it looks like a handcuff to me with a key, with a keyhole inside, right? Doesn't that look like look like what it is? Okay, so let me share with you my first expert. So Akio Yaita, former Taipei bureau chief for Sankei Shimbun, one of Japan's major national newspapers. and now executive director of a strategic think tank based in Taiwan, believes the two videos are highly effective. He pointed out that the CIA already has many informants within the CCP bureaucracy, so technically they don't need these kinds of videos for recruitment. The real purpose, he said, is to wage a psychological warfare against the CCP. And there are three main goals. The first one is to publicly define the CCP as the enemy. US and Chinese intelligence agencies have clashed behind the scenes for many years, but both sides stayed silent. It's a stealth war. But openly recruiting CCP insiders, or by openly recruiting CCP insiders, the United States is making this conflict public and telling the world the CCP is now officially America's enemy. And this marks a serious escalation in US-China tensions. And the second goal, according to Mr. Yaita, is to apply psychological pressure on CCP spies everywhere or elsewhere or abroad. Beijing has extensive spy networks around the world. The videos send a clear message to the CCP undercover agents. We have people inside your regime, and at any moment, your data or reports could end up in our hands. You'd better watch yourself. And the third goal is to sow discord and chaos within the CCP. Dictators are always deeply suspicious of those around them. These videos plant seeds of doubt in Xi Jinping's mind, warning him, your subordinates could betray you at any time. And that alone can create major turmoil. Mr. Yaita predicts it won't be long before the CCP launches a broad spy hunting campaign. I mean, they have already launched the spy hunting campaign, but it would be just more intensive and more massive, and leading to a surge in false accusations and wrongful convictions. And this will create a total chaos. Now, Mr. Yaita is not alone. Another China expert who also holds the view of American psychological warfare is former investigative journalist who now lives in the US, Mr. Zhao Lanjian. And he argues that CIA videos are not just recruitment ads. They're carefully crafted psychological weapons aimed at four specific groups. And the first group is marginalized senior officials who were once powerful, now sidelined, and likely targets for future purges. These people hold confidential information and secrets and may be forced to trade them for freedom or safety. The second group is the young tech workers working in cybersecurity, AI, and data surveillance. They see the system's dark side daily in their work and don't want to be fooled by CCP's slogans or propaganda anymore. They might be swayed by conscience. And the third group is overseas diplomats and officials, including high executives working for SOEs. Now, these people have lived in the West for years and accepted universal values. They know how the CCP has completely lost credibility in the West. And they are the most likely group to defect to the West because they fear losing both wealth and personal freedom if they are forced to return to China. And the last group is the security and disciplinary officials in China. They've participated in brutal political purges and secret detentions and know the dark side of CCP secrets. But not every one of them is cold-blooded. Some, that Mr. Zhao believes, might break free and become whistleblowers if given the chance. So echoing what Mr. Yaita said, Zhao thinks the CIA's real goal isn't just recruiting spies, it's planting a dangerous question in the minds of tens of thousands of CCP officials. Will I end up like the two ministers, Li Shangfu and Qin Gang? this single doubt could be enough to shake their loyalty. As Zhao put it, he said, the real victory is not in how many people the CIA recruits. It's whether they can make more people ask themselves, why should I keep sacrificing for a system that's no longer worth it? This is what makes the videos potent. In addition to the above 4 types of people identified by Mr. Zhao, perhaps Professor Yuan Hongbin offered his view on the type of officials the videos most appeal to. Okay. So he said, according to Professor Yuan, the first group of officials is made up of purged officials and their families, potentially millions of them. Yeah, there are not a small number. Many still hold positions inside the system. These individuals resent Xi Jinping, and some have developed a hatred. In Professor Yuan's own words, their hatred is like underground fire. And these people will be very tempted by the CIA's offer. As Yuan put it, if given the chance to hurt Xi Jinping, many of them would willingly take the risk. And the second group, according to him, includes officials worried about their overseas assets. They've watched how, after the Russia-Ukraine war, the West seized both Russian state assets and the private wealth of Russian officials abroad. I mean, not the officials aren't abroad, the assets abroad. Now these officials, I mean, the CCP officials, fear that Xi Jinping's reckless foreign policies or even a Taiwan war could put their foreign assets at risk. Mr. Yuan said that many are quietly seeking channels to connect with the US, Japan, or Europe to protect their wealth and their families' futures. So these videos will definitely become very appealing to them. Now, I'd like to share with you the views from officials themselves, because that's what matters, right? Of course, I have no ways of contacting them or getting them to talk to me, but I can share with you the views of 2 former CCP officials who escaped China. The first one is Li Chuanliang, sorry. There he is, who was once the deputy mayor of a city called Jixi City in Heilongjiang. He now lives in the US. He knows exactly how officials inside the system think. He said that no official feels safe right now. And he shared a real case. He said that during the pandemic, an official who, in his city, his name is Kong Lingbao. He was the party secretary of a district in the city of Jixi. He privately said that the party's work just can't continue. That was during the pandemic. I mean, in Chinese, 就是说, sorry, I start to speak Chinese. He's basically saying, 党的工作就是不能再干了. Like he felt like he can't do the party's dirty work anymore. It's just too appalling. I mean, that's the underlying message. Someone reported him. That night, his home was raided, and he was later charged with economic crimes, corruption, and was sentenced to 11 years in prison just for making that comment. So now you can imagine the impact. I mean, the impact of cases like that on the rest of the officials. So Mr. Li said that rebellious thinking is no longer a quiet undercurrent. He said it's in every official's heart. He said many officials admire the, I should say, Western values or the universal values of democracy and freedom. And some even praise Taiwan's election. Sorry, excuse me. Some even praise Taiwan's elections, of course, privately. Joking that Taiwan's publicly elected president might actually do a better job. Here we go. Ugh. What happened? Last few drops of tea in my cup. It's empty. All right. Sorry. I'm fine. It's just that I have a very dry throat. Yeah, so these people are saying in private, that they believe that Taiwan's president, who's publicly elected, might actually do a better job, if he's given a chance to govern China. So according to Mr. Li, there are a large number of officials now wish to defect. According to him, he said that even if they can escape mentally, they've already turned against the regime. He said, I can't say it's 100%, but at least 80 to 90%. So he's saying that 80 to 90% have already defected in their heart. Physically they can't, but in their heart, they have already defected. If they're given a chance, or if the conditions are there, they would do it physically. So the CIA videos didn't just land like any other propaganda clip. They struck at the deepest fear and quiet hopes inside the CCP's own ranks. As the party tightens its grip and as the purges continue, more officials are now going to ask themselves the question, a dangerous question: why should I keep sacrificing for this system? Okay, now let me give you Mr. Du Wen's insight. Okay, there he is. So Mr. Du was once chief legal counsel to the provincial government of Inner Mongolia. He said CIA does have an urgent, his opinion is a little different from the other ones. He believes the CIA does have an urgent need to collect critical intelligence because they have been slacking off. And Mr. Du explained, he said, America needs vast intelligence resources right now because the CCP's thinking toward the US has completely changed. It's now a war mindset or a war mentality, much more intense and dangerous than anything we've seen since the Korean War. But the videos are doing more than gathering spies, he said. They are exploiting the fear that Xi Jinping's purges have unleashed throughout the party. And he gave a very vivid description of what things are like within the party, and he calls it a pressure cooker. He shared a story about a friend who's a deputy level chief prosecutor, and this guy is not one of those marginalized officials. He's still in power. He said the first thing he told me when we met was, it's terrifying. In the years I've served as chief prosecutor, I've had no time to actually work on cases. Every day, it's just political study and endless meetings. It's a constant waste of time, meaningless, busy work that has nothing to do with my job or life. They hand out books and make you write reports yourself. You can't even have your secretary do it. They check your work. So this fear isn't just emotional, it's logistical. Because he said that Xi Jinping's, regime has confiscated passports of officials and also public servants, even including some school teachers. And they're strictly monitoring financial transactions and tracking officials' family members living abroad. So he's saying that they're investigating which officials have children overseas or any foreign connections. He said 2 weeks ago, new orders came down from the CCP's organization department and the Central Military Commission. They're checking everyone. even if you simply just have a passport. If you don't have any family members living overseas, but if you have a passport, they want to know. Um, so these officials, he said, can't move their wealth abroad. Their kids can't leave either. Um, Even getting a passport or a visa is nearly impossible. Moving money out is hard, but moving people out is even harder. Um, so he believes the desire to defect is widespread. If there's something that they can do without leaving China, he said that it's the desire or the willingness is widespread. He said if the CIA can offer safe resettlement for defectors' families, I believe large groups of high-level officials would come forward. But he also sounded a note of caution. He said, while many want to flee, the senior leaders do not know how to bypass CCP's firewall and surveillance. He said the older ones may have technical difficulties. The younger ones may not have this difficulty, but they don't have access to valuable intelligence as the older ones do. So he said what America really needs is technical data like aircraft, missiles, naval deployments, military strategy. But in his opinion, a vice governor of some province may want to defect, but he doesn't really have much to offer to the United States from Mr. Du's perspective. He said all he can offer is local economic data, but that has very limited value. Um, and then he said that analyzing the information defectors provide also takes a lot of resources. Right? He said even a single set of financial data requires a full team of people. So he said that you may attract a lot of people who will give you information, but their information they provide is not that very valuable. Basically, the people who don't have the technical difficulties to defect or to contact CIA do not have valuable information, and the ones who have valuable information are closely monitored and watched, and these individuals may not have the technical know-hows to do it successfully or safely. Um, and he also talked about a trend. He said in earlier years, many officials moved their children and money to the United States, but today they avoided America. He said he spoke with several senior officials' family members who fled recently, but they chose Australia, New Zealand, or Canada. And when he asked them why not the United States, they told him, they said it's too sensitive now. So that's another important piece of information. So these people want to flee, but they may not choose the United States because it's too sensitive. They may choose other Western states. Now, Beijing has already felt the growing threat. Actually, since the party's 20th Party Congress, it has steadily expanded the power of the state security agencies, right, and rolled out new measures, including the anti-espionage law. So, of course, it would take all necessary measures to fight back against this maneuver by the CIA. I think if the CIA wants to make their programs successful, they need to take care of two issues. That's just my opinion. The first issue is they need to clamp down or stop CCP's secret police operations overseas, because this is a threat. According to a report by the independent human rights organization called Safeguard Defenders, which is based in, I think, Madrid, Spain. In its report, in 2024 alone, the CCP's secretive police operation brought back 1,597 so-called fugitives from abroad back to China. And between the 10 years from 2014 to 2024, the secretive operation forcibly returned nearly 14,000 individuals to China from over 120 countries and regions using covert tactics such as entrapment, luring, or even just kidnapping. And the targets are not just ex-government officials, but also overseas dissidents, Falun Gong practitioners, and other groups. So the CCP may use this operation now to target family members of certain officials who they suspect have defected or I mean, these people may not have really defected, but if the CCP is suspicious of them, and if they have family members living overseas, and these family members are in danger. So not until the CIA or the United States government stop the secret police operations in the, and not just US, in other parts of the world as well. I think the officials inside China would be very careful not to risk the well-beings of their family members. So that's a concern number one. And the second issue that I think the United States government needs to address is they need to make sure many Chinese can see this video, because the internet is still censored, right? The infamous Chinese firewall is blocking information from coming from outside. So that brings us the question, how many Chinese can actually circumvent the firewall and access internet freely from inside China? So a Mr. Gan, his name is Gan Wenwei. He was a software provider who specialized in firewall circumvention tools. And he went into exile in the Netherlands at the end of last year. He shared his insight in a media interview in March. He clarified that VPNs and actual circumvention software are different. And most of the tools widely used in China today are these circumvention software tools, like they're like Shadow Socks, Trojan, Hysteria, and V2 Ray. So these are the tools that people use to develop software to bypass the Great Firewall, and they're not VPN. And those softwares are very popular in China. And he said that traditional VPN protocols like OpenVPN or RTT are primarily designed for internal corporate networks, and they're not usable in China for the most part, especially for cross-border connections. He said, and there are some services available, but they're expensive. They're far beyond the reach of ordinary Chinese users. So he gave an example. So for example, his company had 30 people. So when it comes to how many people actually use that type of software to circumvent the firewall, so he gave some numbers. So he had a team of 30 people, and they processed nearly 500,000 monthly orders. Now, these 500,000 monthly orders serve between 1 to 3 million users per month who bypass the firewall. And he said there are several large companies that are larger than his, that are making a lot of money in this business. So it's estimated conservatively that 30 to 50 million Chinese, there are 30 to 50 million active users in China who bypass the Great Firewall regularly, and who can access the free internet. So I think, but it's still a very small number, comparatively speaking. So if the CIA wants to make this program successful, they need to somehow um, allow more Chinese to access the internet freely. So it's going to be an eventful summer and eventful 2025. We're going to see interesting developments unfolding in this summer, and I think into the fall. Um, that's all. That's all I have for you. All right. I want to quickly mention that I released a new video in my Looking Glass channel. It's called Lay's Looking Glass, and this is about uh, an ancient immigrant story. It's an immigrant story from 1,000 years ago. I think it's, in my mind, it's the best East meets West story uh, that has withstood the test of time. So if you haven't seen it, please check it out. Chris, if you can copy the link in the description, I'd appreciate it. All right. So let's see. All right. Let's see what people have for me. All right. I want to first of all thank the people who give me the super stickers. I want to. Oh, here there are quite a number of them. Drusilla Shute. Am I pronouncing your name right? I tried. Oh, here's another one. Drusilla. Drusilla. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Here's one from Matthew Morgan. Well, thank you, Matthew. Okay, all right. Venkat Lay, what will the likely role of CCP and PLA in India-Pakistan war, as China has openly offered to help Pakistan? I think China is behind this. I mean, clearly, look at the timing. Look at the timing of this conflict. I mean, it's right in the middle of the tariff war, right? I mean, it's like, and the Trump administration is trying to put out the fires around the world, right? In the Middle East, in Europe, between Russia and Ukraine, and yet we've seen another fire um, being lit. So the someone I saw this today, and I thought this person said it so well. And here's, I'll just tell you. So think about it. India and Pakistan war. What kind of matchup is this, right? India has 6 times the population of Pakistan, 8 times the military budget, 10 times the GDP, 43 times the foreign reserves than Pakistan. And Pakistan is a country plagued by high inflation, economic stagnation, and crushing debt. India, on the other hand, is a rapidly growing economy and will benefit tremendously from the US China decoupling. The two countries are mismatched. This is like a small fighter going up against someone 10 times his size. So the question is how? Who's backing Pakistan, right? Not US, not Europe, certainly not Russia. Um, so there's only one force behind it, the Chinese Communist Party, right? So it's very obvious who is pulling the strings from behind the scene and who is trying to stir up yet another global chaos. It's just very clear. So that's my answer. All right, back to common sense now. Hello, Lei. Do you think CCP has a hand in this new India-Pakistan war? I think I just answered that. Absolutely. It doesn't make sense. I mean, if you think about the timing, everything, right? I think it's a move of desperation. It's a move to distract and make things more difficult for the U.S. government, for the Trump administration. Yeah. All right. Drusilla? Okay, hi, Drusilla. Thank you. If you can help me pronounce your name correctly. Anonymous. PP. All right, okay. All right. Okay, let me pick some questions. AI. US said today that they're not getting involved in the Pakistan-India dust up. They should not, because if they do, then they fall into the CCP trap. Um, okay. All right, let me see. The equipment that Pakistan bought from China. Oh, I want to answer. I want to address. So Xi Jinping is in Russia. We've seen the videos. I I study the videos. It To me, I mean, there are people who argue it's a body double. I think it's him. I really think it's him who risked everything to go to Russia to meet his best friend. I do think it's Xi Jinping himself, and I give you my reasons maybe on Saturday. The videos coming from out of Moscow is very interesting, but at least I just want to say it is him. I do not believe it's a body double. All right, let's see. All right, that seems to be all. Oh, here's a question from Peter. Jungle Tiger 17. What about their family members who are left inside China? They're not um they are either going to cut the ties with their family, um if they want to defect and flee China, then they would most likely like divorce their spouse, um send their children away, so that the authorities can hold their family members as hostage, because the wife can say, well, he divorced me, I know nothing about what he did. That's assuming if he or the official, let's assume it's a he, wants to escape. But it's also possible that they stay and they just send their children or family members overseas. I mean, most people want to do this to protect their children. They understand the risk, but they want to take the risk themselves and protect their children. So they want to do everything they can to send their children somewhere else. It's very likely that they will contact CIA, but they will send their children not to the United States because it's too sensitive, but they will send their children to other countries. Um, yeah, because it's just too sensitive if their children go to the US. So yeah, so the scenario you described where they leave and they leave their families behind would not happen because they would take care of this beforehand. Yeah. What the a lot of one thing that they do typically is divorce their wife. Once an official realize that they will about um to be investigated, they will didn't the owner, the founder of Evergrande divorced his wife? There's so many business billionaires who divorced their wives just so that they could transfer the asset to be under the wife's name, so that they're willing to go to the prison. They're willing to take on the blame and go to prison. And then the wives and the children will still have some money left. So that's what they do. It's a common practice. It's sad, but that's what they do. Jonathan Freeman, there is value in recruiting a lower level official that knows nothing. It's a practice for recruiting higher level officials. Okay, wow, you know something that I don't. Okay, that's good. Yeah. All right. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, here's a question from Wheezy Squeezy Box. What do you think about the Chinese mega embassy in London? I think we should do everything we can to prevent it from building. Why does China need a mega embassy in London? Uh, Why? What's going to happen inside that mega structure? It's concerning, isn't it? Question from Norbert Claus. Would Chinese people really change if they had access to the Western internet? Yes, it would be very helpful. It will be very, very helpful. It will change their mentality because it will be like detoxing their decades of brainwashing. They'll finally understand. They'll discover the truth. They will understand how they've been brainwashed um, in their life. I think this is very necessary and it's urgent. Okay. Um, all right. Okay. All right. That's all. I reached the bottom and we'll end it here. And I'll see you this weekend. How's that? Thank you very much. Did I miss a question? It was from Drusilla. Just does Drusilla has a question for me? I didn't see a question from Drusilla. Oh, here's a question. Here's a question. What do you think of President Trump and how he's dealing with China? Um, well, he's definitely more forceful than Joe Biden for sure. Um, I think his intention is very clear. Even the CCP gets it. But he's playing good cop and bad cop with his cabinets, right? So uh, he is, I mean, he has kept saying that Xi Jinping is his friend. Um, he even asked the new ambassador to China to send his regard to Xi Jinping. I mean, he's saying all these seemingly nice things, but you should judge by what he does. But if you look at the tariff war um, and everything he does, it's groundbreaking. We have not seen that in any presidents before him. So I think it's a good direction. It's definitely in the right direction. Um, but could he be more forceful? Certainly he can, but not everyone, in his administration is going to agree with that opinion. So I understand he has to balance the two views. Um, so I don't think the trade talk in Switzerland is going to produce anything. I think any tariff and trade talks with China is not going to produce anything because I should make a program on that. Yeah, it's counterproductive. It's not going to produce anything. It's only going to delay progress that this administration wants to achieve. So do not waste time negotiating with them. All right. All right. Thank you, Catholic Ready. Thank you. There's one more. That's all. That's all. All right. I'll end it here. Thank you very much. I'll see you this weekend. All right. Bye.